Hi and welcome to Brighton Maths at Home. Today we're going to look at number bonds to 20 again, but there's just one thing I wanted to say before we start our game, which is that number bonds to 20 isn't just number facts for numbers that add up to 20. It's actually every combination of numbers from 1 add 1 or even 0 add 0 within 20. So it can be things that add up to 18 or 19 or two numbers that add up to 14. All of those are also important. And so today we're going to really look at adding up one-digit numbers within 20. We're going to be using cards. Now, the important thing to say before we start is that when we're using our cards today, we're going to be adding, so it's not going to be digits. And the second thing is this is a complete pack, so there's lots of tens. We'll use aces to be ones, but we're going to use any picture card to be 10. What's the smallest total we can get from two cards?
11.
I know what you're saying. This does make 11, but what's the smallest total I could get with two cards? There's no 0 in here, is there? So what's the smallest total?
1.
It's a 1 and another 1, so the smallest total would be 2. So on the left-hand side of your page, write down the number 2. What's the biggest total you can get with two cards?
Is it 100?
No, because we're not
20.
timing. It's adding, so it's 20. So on the right-hand side of write 20. Now, what we're going to do is on our pieces of paper, we're going to write all the possible totals that we can from 2 to 20. So let's just think about this. With two cards, could you make 3?
Yes.
So we're going to write 3. Could you make 4?
Yes.
How would you make 4?
2 2s.
Yeah. How would you make 5?
3 and a 2.
Yeah. Another way?
4 and a 1.
Good. Yeah. I mean, do you think we can make all the different numbers from 2 up to 20?
Pretty much.
I think we could. So now we're going to write all the numbers from 2 all the way to 20. Right, okay, so now we have all the numbers from 2 all the way up to 20. Now we're going to play, we've done this kind of scoring before. Each time we turn over 2 cards, we need to add the total up. Whatever that total might be, we will circle the number that relates to that.
Yeah.
Now, if we get the same exact total twice, then we're out and the other person wins. So you're really hoping that each time you'll get a different number.
You only get 1 life.
Should we do 2 lives?
Yeah, 2
Let's do
lives is
2
probably
lives.
best.
So we've decided for our game that we're going to have 2 lives. So if you get the same number twice, you lose a life. For the second time that happens, you're out of the game. Shall I go first?
Mm-hmm.
So I pick 2 cards up, and remember I'm adding. So it's not 6 10s and 7 1s, it's 6 add 7.
That makes sense.
So there are different ways of doing this. You should always, if you're going to do any kind of counting, you should always start with a big number, start from 7. If you needed to count up to 7, you should quickly learn. It's got the number 7 on it. We don't have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can start at 7. And then we could say 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's one way of doing it. I might show you a different way later. But for now, I'm going to circle 13 on my little list. And of course, I don't lose a life or anything because I've not had a go yet.
So
You're doing 1 add.
9, which is 10.
So you're going to circle. Now that's perfect. That's a good example of knowing the answer. And we're really aiming for that. And my youngest son, of course, knows that 9 and 1 are 10. So he doesn't do any counting. He just says 10.
That's one of the
And it's
easiest
worth.
ones.
If it's an easy one, it's still they're all important. Now I'm going to do it slightly differently this way, or I will keep it that way for you. We've got 8 and 3. Now I know that 8 and 2 make 10. So of course I've got 1 more, and that's 11. So I use my fingers there to show the number bonds. 8 add 2, 1 more makes 11. So I'm going to circle 11. That's a 10.
So that's 10, and what's that?
That's another 10.
Okay. Oh, so all of these are 10.
All pictures are
Okay,
10.
that makes sense. So 10 plus 10 is 20.
I think we're going to find that could be a problematic one, the 20, because it could come up a few times. There's lots of 10s in there. I've got 10 and 2. It's really important to know what 10 add 2 is. All of those kind of, 10 and something else. And the two teen numbers, really important to know. 10 and 2 is 12 without having to do any counting. So there we go. 10 and 2 is 12. So I've circled 12. Your turn.
So that's 2 plus 5 or 5 plus 5, 7.
Good. One of my favourite ones with 5 add anything is to go back to my hands and to think, well, a 5 and a 2, I know what this number I'm showing here is, and sometimes that can be quicker. It might seem that using fingers is a babyish approach, but actually it's a very sensible approach. We've got fingers, and by showing a 5 and showing a 2, I get to 7 much quicker than someone that was trying to do some counting or even counting on. So fingers can be a quick way to get there. Right, my turn, isn't it? I've got 9 and 7. I know that 9 add 1 is 10, and there must be 6 here because this 7 will be split into a 1 and a 6. So I know it's 16. Nobody's lost a life yet. Your turn. Tell us what we've got.
9 plus 4, which is 13.
And that's another 9 and 1 is 10. Well done. Have you got 13 before?
No.
No. I've got, oh dear, I've got 10 add 2. If you've been following closely, you'll know I've already got 12, so I've lost a life. Because I've already got 12 before, it's come up again, I've lost a life.
8 and 3. 8 plus 3 is 11.
Good. You might want to think about the number bonds of 10 and what's left. Have you had 11 before?
No.
No, you're still on 2 lives.
It's more of a luck game.
Yeah, it is a bit of a luck game. I've got 14. 10 and 4 we know is 14. We know our teens.
You've got 11, 12, 13, 14.
I have. Your turn?
Lucky. 10.
Uh-oh.
10. That's 20.
So you've lost a life. So we're both on our last life here.
It's a draw.
I've got 10 and 10, which is 20, but I haven't had that yet. So
Yeah, but 10 is very...
it might come up again. Yeah, that's a risky one to cross off. Uh-oh.
No!
And it's another 10 add 10. So we have another life lost. So today I'm the winner. I hope you can see from playing that game that you can adjust it. If you want a quick game, you could just say the first person to lose a life is out and the other wins. Or you could have 2 lives like we did, or you could have 3 lives. You could also decide to change the pack if you think 10s are coming up too often. You could take them out.